Number 17, Shuffleboarding. In other episodes where the characters who did something wrong and always get his comeuppance, well, apparently this episode has none of that. But trust me, you think that this episode is about shuffleboarding, but trust me, it really isn't. When SpongeBob and Patrick completely hurt Mermaid and Barnacle Boy so badly that they go to the hospital. They want to be in this shuffleboarding contest and they let SpongeBob and Patrick do it. But the costumes are really stupid and pathetic to fall for. Yes, that's it. That's literally the costumes that SpongeBob and Patrick are wearing. What happened to the other costumes that they wore in the earlier seasons? I mean, seriously? I mean, I know that they're trying to make sure that that's really Mermaid and Barnacle Boy, but come on, this is pathetic. And you know what's really pathetic? They already won the tournament. I'm not kidding. There was no cutting. There was no skipping. There was no later. It just literally came out after that scene when Patrick is just saying, we're getting ready for the shuffleboarding contest, and then SpongeBob says, we already won the tournament. And that's not even the worst part about this episode. You know what's the worst part? Patrick and SpongeBob completely arresting people who did nothing criminal in this episode. Oh my god, is this what they're gonna replace with? Seriously? And what's worse is that they literally arrest people for a police officer completely throwing away a Krabby Patty because he's completely full, and then SpongeBob arresting the people who has his shoes untied. I'm not kidding. They literally do this in this episode. I got no words to describe this episode except why? It's just so unbelievable that they just literally scrapped the old plot with this plot instead. I mean, why would the writers literally just do that? I mean, the other plot should be about shuffleboarding, not this. Oh my god. Anyway, we get a battle between Mermaid Man, or shall I say, SpongeBob and Patrick, taking on Manway, who does absolutely nothing. In fact, he's just doing his laundry with his grandmother. That's basically it. He didn't do anything villainly in this episode. It's just that. Also, the character is completely out of character, just like every other character in this episode. And then let's get into the ending of this episode. Apparently, SpongeBob and Patrick got everyone in the Bikini Bottom in the jail, and the jail completely explodes. And guess who they blame it on? The real Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. I'm sorry for the long pauses. That's just it. I just got nothing to say. I mean, I pound my head against the wall because don't know what I'm watching anymore. Oh my god. I really can't suffer more for that. I can't suffer. I don't even know what I'm watching. I mean, seriously, the problems in this episode is just way too big because of SpongeBob and Patrick doing shuffleboarding, what this episode is supposed to be about, and then scrapped it with an episode people torturing the others who did nothing wrong because of the other people did something wrong while they were gone. Oh my god. I really need more rest after this. Anyway, what's next? 16. No, not this episode. No. Let's skip this episode. No, oh, come on. I don't want to review this episode, please. This episode is Face Freeze. Oh my god, people really hate this episode because of the faces in this episode and how disturbing it is. Oh my god. The episode starts with, SpongeBob and Patrick making faces. I'm not kidding. That's literally how the episode starts. And then Mr. Krabs tells SpongeBob and Patrick to stop making faces. Otherwise, if they do it, the faces will be freeze forever. It may be a good moral for the kids to not making faces, but this episode is just plain disturbing and unwatchable. But unfortunately, oh my god. SpongeBob and Patrick still making faces. Oh my god. And they make a different face design that if one of them can hold that face for a long time, they will win. Or maybe they just want to get the face freeze because they're too stupid to understand what Mr. Krabs is saying. Oh my god. Anyway, the next morning, their faces are really freeze. So they go to St. Cheeks to see if they can fix it. And St. Cheeks kind of fixed this, but in case you didn't hear that, that was me puking. Mr. Krabs finds out that they were making faces, and Mr. Krabs gets so enraged that another disturbing face, I'm not even going to show that face again. And then you got the face freeze for only about 3 seconds. That doesn't make any sense. And when Squidward is laughing at this, he gets the face freeze as well. And that's how the episode ends. Which means they're gonna have the face freeze for the rest of their lives. What the heck is wrong with you? If you can't tell, this episode is just disturbing and unwatchable. Patrick and SpongeBob making faces isn't hilarious. Ugh. Anyway, let's continue, otherwise I'll be more sick. Number 15. Now, I can understand why SpongeBob can be very annoying, but when the Bikini Bomb completely goes away for one episode and do something so unforgiving, you know something is gonna be wrong. And that episode is gone. This episode starts with SpongeBob being all alone, especially Gary, who's gone. Everyone in the Bikini Bomb is gone, and most of this episode is just SpongeBob actually being friends with a boat. I'm not kidding. Until we reach the very end of this episode. Yes, most of this episode is just boring and lazy. Seriously, I mean, I know this is what it's like when someone is alone, but we don't need an episode about that. Ugh. And the reason why everyone in the Bikini Bomb left is because they do National No SpongeBob Day, where they burn up an entire wood statue of SpongeBob to the ground. I'm not kidding. They literally left SpongeBob because they don't want to tolerate with him for one day. I don't care if SpongeBob is annoying. That is just completely cruel. Seriously? You left because you can't tolerate with SpongeBob? Oh my god. If I was SpongeBob, I would literally punch everyone in the face. That's how much I really hate the mean spirit in this show. Look, just because SpongeBob is annoying doesn't mean that you have to go away. I mean, he's not annoying in every single episode. There are just type of episodes where he is annoying, but he's not. Ugh. And you know what's worse about this episode? No one will ever do this. Seriously, if someone does this in real life, the victim will probably never forgive him. And probably wants a piece of his mind to never do that again. Seriously, I know this was released in season 6, but other than that, that just doesn't excuse itself. This episode was just boring and terrible. And the ending is when they go to National No Patrick Day. And to be quite honest, that's literally one of the only good moments in this episode. Because Patrick was being a jerk, so SpongeBob pushed him out of the bus. Which means he's now all alone. Maybe you'll learn a lesson to not be a jerk to everyone. Anyway, number 14. Good Neighbors. This is not only one of the start of the Squidward torture points, but one of the first that made the downfall of SpongeBob. Seriously, even if this episode was 10 years old, this episode is still a new episode, so we can understand that it's a bad episode. This episode starts with Squidward just trying to have his Sunday off because he has no work today, and then SpongeBob and Patrick just annoy him. That's it, just really annoy him. They call him President Squidward, and Squidward just gets very annoyed, and that's basically it. That's really what this episode is about. But I'll talk about more about this episode later. Let's just talk about the Squidward torture porn, since this is the first episode. Now, yuck. This is one of the only episodes I defend SpongeBob and Patrick, even though they unintentionally destroyed Squidward's Sunday. Why? Because this was one of the first episodes after the movie. So by that time, people were still liking SpongeBob, and this episode was still brand new back in the time. And during that time, Jimmy Neutron, Fairly Odd Parents, Danny Phantom was still on air at that time. Back then, Nickelodeon was good, but SpongeBob was getting a little downhill. I know some of the season 4 and 5 episodes of SpongeBob were decent, but this episode was by far the worst. And trust me, I know Squidward has every right to be furious, but I just can't stand his yelling and stuff. I mean, it's acceptable in the earlier seasons, but in this season and later on just isn't, even though he has every right to be furious. Now, I'm not saying that I'm defending this episode. It's just that it's cringeworthy and just unbearable to watch. When SpongeBob and Patrick ruin someone else's day off, and then the other person just yells at them, I just don't like it. This is pretty much the most yelling, the most annoying episode I've ever seen from Squidward, even though he has every right. The only thing I can't stand of Squidward is his ego, even though he's not supposed to be all friendly. He can be a jerk sometimes. Anyway, let's get to the part where Squidward just uses this adventure that he found on the newspaper. Well, it's supposed to keep SpongeBob and Patrick out of his house, but it just ended into a disaster. And then, at the end of the episode, he has to do community service every Sunday for the rest of his life. Okay, this is why I feel bad for him. He really doesn't deserve this. In fact, the people who made that machine should get fired, or banned, or something, or sued. Ugh. This may be the first very bad episode of SpongeBob, but we're already halfway through this list. Anyway, let's move on, otherwise I'll go insane like Squidward.